pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Here.
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 Yes.
Here.
Here.
Okay, I will now ask for a motion to appoint Anthony Glick as corporate counsel for the village of Sauk. I'll ask for a motion.
So moved.
I make a motion to table the matter. The village has attorneys.
I second the motion.
I do have the authority to appoint him, and I will appoint him as my corporate counsel for the next 30 days. Since there was no motion.
Point of order, Your Honor. Mayor. On the agenda is the appointment. There's been a motion to table. And a second. There's no discussion on the motion to table. I'll call for a roll.
As I stated, I will appoint Anthony Glick as my corporate counsel for the next 30 days. That is my right to do that, sir.
With all due respect, Your Honor, it's a temporary appointment. It's not on the agenda. And because of the special meeting and the action of the Board of Trustees to restore Olson Circuit Village Attorney, there's no vacancy to appoint anyone as village
You
attorney.
said there's no vacancy?
There is no vacancy as
Okay,
village.
I do make a vacancy at this particular point. I was trying to. I do not, and I will go on record, I do not want Olson to be my corporate counsel. So if you want to say that it's what I do not want them to be, and I talked about that. I thought I just explained why. I do not want Olson to be corporate counsel. They can be counsel for the legislature, but I don't want, I cannot sit here and have someone do what they've done and then ask them for advice.
Again,
Point of order, are we going to work according to Robert Rules of Orders, or are we going to do the things that we want to do the way we want to do them? There's been a motion and a second on the floor to table this item. There shouldn't even be discussion on this item. This is Robert's Rule of Order. There is a motion on the floor to table this item. There has been a motion and a second. The village clerk should call a roll. Point of order.
Okay, first of all, I do have the right to appoint counsel.
with all due respect, Mayor, we have attorneys from Ansel Plate that I've worked with and respect and I've known them. They're shaking their heads. You simply can't do that at this meeting under the law. That there's been a motion, second to table.
What I want to do right at this meeting is get rid of Olson Circuit's corporate counsel. I want to do that. Can I do that?
Again, you can't do that. Not at this meeting. You tried to do that on Friday. You sent the letter, and that's the reason for the special meeting. And the Board of Trustees the corporate authorities have overridden your letter by a 2/3 vote.
The mayor's own counsel is shaking their head that he's acting inappropriately. Now, you can believe what you want. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Point of order, Mr. Mayor. You're acting inappropriately. Can we please finish this motion?
Why are you addressing?
Because you need to finish this motion.
Madam Trustee, right now, you're not running the meeting.
I'm not trying to run a meeting. I'm trying to finish this motion.
I understand what was just said. I don't need your clarification. I don't need that. I'm not saying that I heard what the attorney said, and I heard what the lawyers are saying. I understand that. I don't need your clarification.
Can you call vote?
So I'm not, if the board doesn't, okay, fine. But I will put another letter up just to let you know, don't be untransparent. I do not want Olson Circuit to represent me, and I need to get my own attorneys. because I don't trust, so whatever has to be done, I will find out. Number 5.
Please call the roll. Please call the roll.
Call the roll.
A motion and a second on the floor to table.
The table what? Okay, who made the motion? Could you reinstate the motion that you made? Could you reinstate the motion that you made?
I made a motion to table, because the village has attorneys.
And I
Table,
said,
the table what?
read it.
Your appointment of clean and corporate counsel.
Okay, so you have made a motion to table the appointment of Ansel Glick.
Yeah.
Okay, and you said second?
Yes, sir.
Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Approval of executive session minutes. We will approve them one by one. I'll entertain a motion to approve the executive session and release these minutes for April 16, 2019. I'll take.
Mr. Mayor, are you not going to do executive session? Are you going to do it
Well,
again?
I'll be doing the executive session to inform you guys of the law firm, give you better information. Obviously, if you don't want to go that direction,
Well, I'd like to go in executive session for personnel.
And pending possible litigation.
Yeah.
Are you making
So I make a
that motion?
motion that we go
I
in
second
executive
it.
session for personnel and pending.
so moved by trustee Todd, second by trustee Williams. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Moved by trustee Bell, second by trustee Williams. Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Motion carried. Item number 5, approval of executive board minute meeting. I'll entertain a motion for approval and release of these executive board members, board minutes. First one, April 16, 2019. I'll accept the motion.
Second.
Moved by trustee Todd, second by trustee Brewer. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Yes. I beg your pardon. This is what I'm saying. I'm sorry.
Abstain.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Abstain.
Abstention goes with the majority, so motion is carried. I'll accept the motion for the approval and release of the executive session meeting for the date of May 7, 2019.
So moved. Second.
Moved by trustee Brewer, second by trustee Todd. Any question? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Williams.
Abstain.
Trustee Bell. Trustee Brewer.
Yes.
Trustee Grant.
Yes.
Trustee Jazinski.
Abstain.
Trustee Todd.
Yes.
Motion is carried. I need a motion for the executive session minutes to be released for May 15, 2018. carried. I'm going to entertain a motion for approval and to hold the executive session meeting for February the 12th, 2017.
Second.
Moved by trustee Todd, second by trustee Brewer. Any questions?
Trustee Brewer.
Yes.
Trustee Grant.
Yes.
Trustee Jazinski.
Abstain.
Trustee Todd.
Yes.
Trustee Williams. Trustee Bell.
Abstain.
Motion is carried. I'll accept the motion for the approval and to hold the executive session meeting for September 12th, 2017.
Second.
Moved by trustee Todd, second by trustee Brewer. Any questions?
Trustee Grant.
Yes.
Trustee Jazinski.
Abstain.
Trustee Todd.
Yes.
Trustee Williams. Trustee Bell.
Abstain.
Trustee Brewer.
Yes.
Motion is carried. I'll entertain a motion to approve and to hold executive session meetings for November 14th, 2017.
So.
Second.
Moved by trustee Grant, second by trustee Todd. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Jazinski.
Abstain.
Trustee Todd.
Yes.
Trustee Williams. Trustee Bell.
Abstain.
Trustee Brewer.
Yes.
Trustee Grant.
Yes.
Motion is carried. I'll entertain a motion to approve the executive session meetings and hold for May 8th, 2018.
So moved. Second.
Moved by trustee Todd, second by trustee Brewer. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Todd.
Yes.
Trustee Williams. Trustee Bell.
Abstain.
Trustee Brewer.
Yes.
Trustee Grant.
Yes.
Trustee Jazinski.
Abstain.
Motion carried. I'll accept the motion for the approval of the executive session minutes and hold for the period of May 28th, 2019.
So moved. Second.
The move by trustee Todd, second by trustee Bell. Any questions?
Trustee Williams.
Yes.
Trustee Bell.
Yes.
Trustee Brewer.
Yes.
Trustee Grant.
Yes.
Trustee Jazinski.
Yes.
Trustee Todd.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item is public comment. We have 3 minutes to speak on any topic. Each speaker may comment on any matter. You have one opportunity to speak for 3 minutes, and I will answer those questions at the end of the comment. Please just state your name. You don't have to do that.
Pat Couch. I had an opportunity last week to attend the night court session, and I would just like to state that it's an absurd night court that we have a group, I think it's called Stutley Group, that has an adjudicator. We have officers and we have a code enforcement person that gets out, works their tail off, issuing tickets. And then you come to night court and they dismiss. Oh, I'll reduce that fine. That's absurd. Why do these people go out and work their tails off if they're not going to be held accountable? That needs to be looked at, I hope, by this board. Second issue, I brought it up last week regarding the water bills that residents are not paying. I know of one incident that has not been paid since October. I brought this up again last week. This resident hasn't paid his water bill since October. Getting free garbage pickup. That's absurd. Somewhere, somebody's not doing their job. That needs to be looked at desperately. How many other people are getting by with not paying their water bills and getting free garbage pickup? I did call Republic, and I was informed that they only get a notice, possibly once a year, of all the or the people that are shut off, supposed to be shut off, how can we pay them if we only send them a notice once a year? That needs to be looked at. Inspections. Inspections of property is a joke. I know of a particular property that has not been inspected properly. The resident is still living in that property, and again, this is the property that hasn't paid a water bill since October. He has not had his certifications done. What's the problem? Mr. Wiswati made a deal. It needs to be addressed by someone, because it was inspected prior to this individual's moving in, and then Mr. Wiswati said it had to be re-inspected. Now, mind you, it was inspected, a brand new furnace had been put in. It passed every single inspection. A few months later, Mr. Wiswati said it needed to be inspected again. Lo and behold, the mayor's cousin, I understand, is the inspector. It failed every single inspection. From a brand new furnace that was put in, but it failed on inspection. Somehow there's a problem here. I think we need to address that, folks. Also, this dog that was supposed to have been gone a year and a half ago, or it's been a problem for over a year, that dog is still running loose, and it was on my porch again this past week. The people were supposed to come to court, they failed to come to court. The dog is hidden in their basement. Something needs to be addressed on that dog. Thank you.
Robert Chakowski. I apologize for my outburst earlier, but I take offense to the mayor making comments that the homes that we're providing, and we're investing a good deal of money, that they're substandard in any fashion. We make our best efforts and go well above and beyond anything that is considered normal to create a good home for our tenants and good residents for Sauk Village. So, Mr. Mayor, again, I take offense.
Some of you may remember me. My name is Ted. Mr. Mayor, I understand you were looking for me. Ted Maris, M-A-R-A-S. Mr. Mayor, I understand you were looking for me, but I had to step out because I had to chill out. I'm really angry. I'm trying to keep this politically correct. Mr. Finch, we haven't had the pleasure of working together. I certainly hope that we can, and I hope you help this town. Please help us, because we need help. Chief, we've just met today. Please, we need help in this town, in your department. I think you have some of the best police officers out there. And just continue doing what you do. Mr. Mayor, with regard to my, quote, moldy, subpar homes, there's 47 of them. I'm going to just guess it's an average of 2 votes per property that I have. Do you think that they would support me when I ask them to support my friends and my candidates? 47 times 2, today's math, is 94 votes. You want to do the math? 2 years ago, pal. So, yes, I take offense that my properties are moldy. I take offense, as do all of my tenants, who will understand they are called subpar tenants. See, now, this is hearsay because I wasn't here when you made those comments, so I apologize if I'm wrong. And Mr. Chief, if there's any problem with any of my properties, I would appreciate a phone call, because I don't have tolerance for stupidity, I don't have tolerance for criminals, and I don't have tolerance for people who don't abide by the law. If there's anything I can do to help my tenants, if there's anything I can do to help my tenants be better citizens, let me know. I'll get on it.
And if I were to have a wedding tomorrow, all 47 houses would be invited. That's the kind of relationship I have with my tenants. And if that's a slumlord, that's pretty brutal on my tenants.
Larry Sapion. I brought you courage. In regard to Robert Rules of Order, which Ms. Williams speaks of all the time, only members are allowed to make motions according to Robert Rules of Order. Out of order or point of order is a motion. Therefore, the attorney had no authority to call for point of order, but none of you all who know Robert Rules of Order, check that. So if we're going to do it by order, do it by order. Stop picking and choosing. With regard to my conspiracy theory, and one more point. The lawyer pointed out, Your Honor, that you make a whole lot of mistakes and allegations against you. But he also admitted that he was the attorney at the time advising you on these things. So maybe he gave you the wrong advice. I just want to point out that there were some motions made prior to the new trustees coming on board. And I think they were made around May 2nd. This was supposed to be an orientation meeting. However, litigation was done, which the attorney was a part of that. So I think that maybe that should be investigated also as a conspiracy. That's just my opinion.
Kathy Betcher. I have a couple of things that I want to ask. First of all, I want to find out about the person being hired for the community center. Have we gotten any applications? Have we got anybody in mind? And we really need to get some programs together for these kids. That's, I mean, you guys know that I'm up here asking for that every week. Second, I'd like to find out if we can enforce first I'm going to say this. I know that our police are overworked. And I know that our code enforcement officer is overworked. But we have people walking in the street when it is pitch black outside. You can't see them. You come around the corner and you miss them by inches. It may be trivial to everybody else, but I know I would feel really hurt. I'd probably end up in an institution if I ever hit somebody and killed them. But I think we need to start enforcing that ordinance where you can't walk in the street, you can't play in the street. I know our sidewalks are bad, but our streets are just as bad. So at least you're somewhat safe on the sidewalk. Let's get them up on the sidewalk. Third, I was a little bit upset when I read that newspaper that's going around that our new trustees are being blamed for a $60 million loss in the village. As far as I know, it was because of firing Mr. Wizawati or letting him go. But as far as I know, big corporations have teams of people that go out and do their due diligence. They do studies. They do. If Mr. Wizawati is not there to talk to them, it is not going to mean a hill of beans. If they want to be here, if they want to build here, I don't care who is sitting up in those seats, and I don't care if Mr. Wizawati's here. They'll put that business wherever they want to put it. Thank you.
Linda Kimmerow. My concern is I had a new roof put on my house last week. As I'm sure you know, Derek, because you drove by a few times while it was being done.
I have
Mr. Burgess.
Yes, there you go.
Mr. Burgess, the honorable. I'm trying to. My problem is, contractors went up there and got a permit. They were told the wrong size thickness of the plywood that needed to be used on the roof. Luckily, before they started, somebody with brains, also known as my father, came over and said, no, that's not the right thickness, you can't put that on there. So I called the village. They didn't know what it was. They don't know the thickness. How am I supposed to get a roof done? So, my father comes up to the village. Joe Wizawai, what's the thickness of the plywood you need to use? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? I don't know. Well, don't you have a book that says what thickness, what is up to code? No, we don't have that here. Now somebody, and I'm trying to be nice, but somebody who took the position of somebody who did know what the code was, could not answer that question. So, the project was stopped for 5 hours. I had to come home from work, take a day off without pay, and finally get a call from Tanya and said, okay, here is a thickness you need to use for your roof to be up to code. That's Joe Wizawani, who should have known that, who can't give an answer. So how does somebody walk into the village hall and say, can you tell me what the code is for this? And he stand there and say, I don't know. Why are we paying him all this money if he does not know? Now, if they had put in the 1/4 inch, like they were first told when they got the permit, my house would have never passed code. Luckily, somebody got me the paper that showed me what needed to be put in. Why couldn't Joe get it for me? Why couldn't he get it for my father when he went up there? When the contractor went up there for the 3rd time, Joe told him, I don't have anything to give you. Why is that? Again, he's not doing his job. Some of us want to fix up our houses. We can't make any repairs if we don't follow rules. I'm sorry, I follow rules. I know other people sometimes just say, you know what, we'll do it on the weekends, so they don't find us, we don't have to get a permit, they won't tell you. I follow rules. But I could not get the information I needed. So, for me to lose a day of work, for the contractors to have to sit there for 5 hours waiting to get an answer, it's not acceptable. It's just something that needs to be worked on. Mr. Burger, it just needs to be taken care of. We gotta do better than this. I'm not blaming you. I'm blaming the people that work for the town that don't have the knowledge that they need to have for people to make repairs on their house.
Yes, me. Too bad. Mary Escobedo. So, a lot of your people that are coming out to the meeting that you and your wife have dragged out and been telling stories about me, hateful stories, which is really sad that they don't know me and they have to believe what you tell them. Your wife has written nasty stuff on Facebook. She has written where I work, my salary and everything. I told you I had to go to HR to tell them that. Now you remember, you asked me, I was your treasurer from day one when you started your campaign. So I know what you do, what you don't do, what you shouldn't be doing, and what you're doing, okay? Then you asked me to be the village treasurer. And you know it took me a month and a half to accept because of my job for independence and conflict of interest. And I finally got through all that, and my job gave me permission to take the position, and I did. And when I was in the back, I saw that you were not doing what you were supposed to be doing. I saw your secretary going around gossiping with everybody, and I told you I was not going to be put in that position because of my job. That's my livelihood, and I need it. The $6,000 I was getting here was not worth losing my job. So all these people that don't know me and keep threatening me, if they continue to threaten me, because I have gone to HR since the last meeting, when people were threatening me, telling me they were going to kick my ass, I will press charges, and you will also be held accountable, because you are part of the problem. And you can laugh all you want, because you know what I'm saying is true, and you know that I know it's true. You're lying. You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Again, the only thing you said that you were going to do was fire all the people in the building because you have vendettas against them. And so did Joe Wisawati. And I'll be here every week to say my part.
Judy Gast here. I also had an opportunity to attend night court and see the workings, and I was extremely disappointed. I didn't see the professionalism. I didn't see our staff being questioned about some of our codes and things. I just saw a litigator that decided on her own to throw things out and cut fines in half. Makes you wonder if, I even made the remark, I wonder if she made enough money tonight to buy herself some dinner. Because she threw so many things out and cut things in half. A comment was made tonight about you and the Otiston and Sturt group and how they didn't advise you on some of the things that you did that they brought up. But apparently they weren't listening closely, because as he read, you stopped having them at the meetings. Therefore, they didn't hear what you said. And how were they to tell you right from wrong, or you can't do that, if they weren't here and didn't receive any information from the present board that was up there? You remember all the bobbleheads. It's sad that we're divided, and we don't have to be. But we're never going to be undivided when people won't admit where they're wrong. And I told you a long, long time ago, I will never, ever change my mind if I think I'm right. Don't tell me, show me where I'm wrong, and I'll publicly apologize to you. Can you say the same?
Hey, I didn't attend night court, but the reason for court is to collect money. Now, I don't know what happened. I will attend since residents feel that it was not done. I don't like to come to night court, because I'm going to want someone to appeal to me because someone wrote chicken and didn't come and ask. That's the reason why I don't think I should be there. That's you going before and adjudicated. That's the way it should be. But I will find out about the way it was ran, and then I will talk to the adjudicator. As far as the garbage, and I don't know where you got the information that water bills were not being paid, and the dates that were given out that water bills weren't paid. That's pretty good information if you knew when someone didn't pay their water bill, but I'm sure that's not the case, because we're right now going after everybody that hasn't paid their water bill. I'm sorry that a person has to make a statement, a libelous statement. We got the lawyers here to say that another person that works for the village made a deal. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. when I talk about the homes, I didn't mention anybody's name. I didn't say who did what. I just said we have homes here. I don't know where it came from that I said that so-and-so had and made this town. I said that I would like to talk to the person that talked to me in my office. I said I won't go and publicly say what was transpired. But I did not call in one person's name. I want to say that right now. I didn't call any investor's name. I didn't even make reference to anyone's name. I said that we don't need to have that in the village. That's what I stated. So, by someone saying I call their home substandard or the people that live there, that's erroneous and that's a lie. And I did not even say that. I didn't even mention that. I would never, I don't know, I haven't been in a home, but I hear what's going on. There are some homes that are that like that. But to say that I said that, I did not say that, and that's not true. And then also to make a statement that I said that he has subpar tenants. I don't know. But then again, people say what they want, and if it's negative, it sells. That's exactly what happened. As far as the community center, there is a flyer out there. Not a flyer, sorry, an application for a part-time Parks and Rec director. I've only gotten one so far, and right now it's being ran pretty decently by a volunteer. So I'm not going to try to rush and get someone in there unless I can make sure they can bring me some program. I don't need someone to sit there and watch. I got someone doing that now, volunteering. So I'm not rushing for that reason, and I'll continue to keep looking until I can find someone. That being said, some things I don't answer. So that being said, go to the next item.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to applaud you for answering the comments. I think that was great. I'm being serious, no bullshit. You didn't have to. I thank you for responding to those comments.
Reports of officers. First item is the mayor's comment, mayor's report. I know we've been listening to all of this negativity and everything going back and forth, but I just want to say that I went down to Springfield 3 different times, 2 times right behind one another, and that trip down there to Springfield really paid off. And I'm proud to announce, and I'm probably sure that, I don't know, I'll just put it like this. We were awarded by the House Bill 0062, that's the House Bill for the House, Illinois House Capital Bill. We've asked for a lot more, but, and I've talked to Mr. Weller about this, and we're trying to come up to a board. Don't think this is going to be money that you can put the property and do this with. This is money that we're going to try to do things that we couldn't normally do with the village. Anyway, we were awarded with the House Bill 62, $600,000. Itemized things on here. $500,000 was awarded just for fire hydrants and valves. The Senate bill, House of the Senate awarded us another $300,000 for a total for Sauk Village. Coming from downstate, this is going into their budget. $943,102. This is what our lobby is. This is just going down, meeting with our representatives, going down and, being a nuisance, basically, sitting in their office, asking them this, what is it, they ask, what can we do right now to help? These are some of the things that we can do, this money is gonna be, we've had money like this before, never this amount, but we got money. But what happened is, a lot of times when we get it, I was talking to the, public works director today, it dries up quick. You get it, you ask for it, you try to spend it, the next thing you know, oh, wait a minute, don't spend that because we haven't got it. So right now, we're aggressively trying to get these things taken care of. A lot of it is infrastructure. It is on here. A lot of it is infrastructure. So we're hoping to do some things. We've got to put our hands together to try to see what we can best do for the village, but it's earmarked. Again, earmarked. It's not for salaries, it's not for hiring, it's for getting these jobs done. Hopefully, we can get this started as soon as possible. I will say this, I went through the whole list of municipalities. We're right up there. Our neighbor only got $335,000, $325,000. So there are some now, there are some municipalities got a couple of mil, you know, but that, I didn't understand why they furnished a building, but they did. So, but now this year I know what I had to do. Next year when I go out, I'll have more. Hopefully we can get more, we can ask more, and we can do something. But I want them to see what we're going to do with this. So when I do go out, I can say, okay, last year you helped us get this money. This is what we did with it. Now we need this. So I just wanted to bring that to the board and let everyone know that it does pay to bathe. That's what I did. Also, the update on the gas and wash. I'm hearing different closing dates. I'm hearing end of this month. I'm hearing the beginning of the next month. It looks like they're coming along. There's signs out there for people that want jobs in a different area, in a different stores that are there. Use those phone numbers. Call if you're looking for a job, and you know. Don't wait till the last minute to open up and say, I need a job, you know, they probably do what they feel. Not saying that in the meantime, that they're not going to meet some more people. So people look for jobs, and I'll let everyone know when the opening day is. I'll let the trustees, I'll get them a formal invitation as soon as I find out when the opening day will be. I'll let everyone know. We were going to have a swearing in, but we're not able to do that. We're a little long, so moving along, Village Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just have one thing that I would want to draw to the attention of the trustees, and especially the newer ones. Back in November, we signed on for some general obligation bonds, the Series 2019 A and B. It has been quite a while, but know that they are on fast track right now for actually implementing or finalizing those bond series. I have asked, and Mayor, I copied you on the email, if someone, Charles Durham from Ice Miller, if he could come and just give you guys an update, those of you who were here already, but as I said, that was in November, but then some of the newer ones, just so that you can have information also. It is anticipated, though, that the bonds will be finalized before they would have an opportunity to actually get here. Oh, they will be here. Okay, so they will be here next week to give you a brief update, and that's all I wanted to bring to your attention.
Village engineer is not here. Treasury report, Mr. Finch.
Thank you, Mayor, Board, Madam Clerk. With regards to my treasury report, the total cash that we have on hand in the discretionary fund is $1,054,228. The available cash in the general fund as of the 7th of June is $832,270 for a total of $1,886,000 $1,299 that's available to pay payroll and the current accounts payable list. Pretty much that's all that I have for my treasury report. Quickly, I just want to comment, piggyback on what the mayor said as far as the roughly $900,000 that's being provided by the state. I was down there with the mayor when he talked to the legislators about that. So I think it's a good thing that the village is getting it. As you guys know, we prepared the budget, so like the mayor was saying, we have to be cognizant how it's spent. Hopefully some of the items that you, as residents, been asking about for the last, I guess, at least the last 3 months since I've been here, can get taken care of. But also understand that the money is just put out there right now. I don't believe in spending money until it actually hits your bank account. So again, like I always keep saying, just be patient, and once the money get in, I'm pretty sure we can figure out how to get it spent. But don't look for things to happen like next week or right away, because they haven't been pretty much released. As far as that, that's the end of my treasury report.
Okay, report to the department, again, finance administration.
Trustees, mayor, and Madam Clerk, you guys got a copy of the final accounts payable list, which shows that payroll was $126,539.40. The accounts payable for this week is $157,262.88. Pretty much that's the accounts payable, and that's the payroll for this week. I do want to quickly piggyback on what the clerk was saying in reference to the bonds for the new trustees. When you guys meet with Kane McKenna, keep in mind that time is of the essence, because if you've been watching the stock market and all the tariffs and everything that's going on with the economy, the bond interest rate fluctuates. So the sooner we do this, the sooner we can take advantage of interest rate. Unfortunately, it seems like things have dragged out with the council making decisions. So this is something I advise and ask you guys to be very cognizant of and don't prolong it, because at the end of the day, the refinancing of a bond is pretty much no difference than refinancing your house, where it says that you get money back at a low interest rate, and that extra money allows you to do things in the future. So pretty much that's it. Just be mindful that time is of essence to get this approved. Other than that, that's my report, Mayor.
Thank you. Fire department, Captain Silver.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Fire department responded to 25 calls for service for the period from May 23rd through June 6th. The most serious was an ambulance assist for a gunshot victim at the marathon. As the weather gets warmer, we would like to remind everyone to practice water safety. Please do not leave young children alone near the swimming pools. Our fire department will be holding their annual golf outing on Saturday, June 29th at Lincoln Oaks Golf Course. As you alluded to, Mr. Mayor, Kevin Luther did receive his Fire Officer 1 and his Advanced Firefighter certificates, which will be presented at another meeting. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Police Department Chief Malcolm White.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For the period between May 29th and today, the police department received and answered 448 calls for service. During that same time period, we also made 13 arrests. We had scheduled some accommodations for war tonight, but we went ahead and scheduled those. I'll put it back on my report next time. Probably within the next 30 days.
Thank you.
That is my report, sir.
Thank you. Public Works, Mr. Kevin Lowe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a few quick items here. Repairs are being completed at Village Hall. We have some lighting, some valves to replace. We've had some issues ordering some parts. There's a lot of lighting systems in this building. Unfortunately, they're at the end of their lives now, the 10 and 12 year period, so we're going to be doing some repairs on those. We have some battery backups in those lights that have to be replaced too, and those are pretty expensive. We also have, we're working at the fire department right now. We have some minor electrical problems over there. We replaced some lights that were purchased under the amended budget. We're working on one of the heater units in there. It looks like it's got a cracked heat exchanger. We'll give recommendations to the fire department for the budget cycle. We're also getting ready for the public works building. Under the amended budget items, we have an abatement out there to be made, plus some repairs to the building to do some upgrades, and a final paint job will come. Some of that stuff will start in the next couple of weeks. Staff has been out cutting all the village locations through the rain this year and the early start of the season. We are definitely behind. The grass is getting higher in our detention areas. Those will be the last locations that we address because the public areas right now are growing so fast, we're cutting them every so many days. These locations in town that we cut, there are 55 locations, well to the 70-acre amount to cut. And staff right now, we're trying to hire a part-time help on. Right now, we do not have any other applicants to look into right now, so if anybody knows of any person 18 or older that wants to cut some grass and help us out, please fill out an application at the village hall or go online and get a copy and turn it into the village hall. Staff has also been out with the complaints of pothole patching. The north side of town, we're trying to get some assistance. That didn't happen at this time, so we moved into the section where Orion and Merrill is, and we're heading right now west. As of today, we've used, this is 3 days working in that section, 10.5 tons of patchwork right now, and this is all permanent material but temporary pothole material at this point. Staff has also been out leveling a few of the locations for the dig locations that we've been in the past. Some of these locations are out a year and a half. I ask for patience at this time. Again, the dirt is wet, it's hard to move around. It's clay in our area, so it doesn't level off easy enough. We cannot get a road tiller in there to do some of the work. So hopefully next week, according to the weatherman, we're going to have maybe a string of days, 4 or 5 dry days that will get us more into the landscaping and hopefully finalize that. The concrete and asphalt, those will come in afterwards. We're trying to get at least the landscaping taken care of for the residents. The street sweeper will start its June cycle on the 17th to the 21st. Please don't park on the streets during garbage day. That's when we'll try to be in the area. This isn't an exact science. We do get behind in some sections, so we do not complete them during the garbage pickup cycle, but we will complete them and we will still drive through the sections. Trees in town, this is another condition we have all around town. We roughly have about 180 of them left. Recently, in the last week, we've cut down 6 more trees. We have stumped them. We have a stumper now, so we will be stumping the trees right after we're done. Of the 6 trees, we still have 3 of them that have to be stumped yet. We will be moving into the hazard sections, which we have specific addresses of hazard trees, and we'll be working on the other trees as we're in those sections. The last thing is staff has repaired my fire hydrant, temporarily repaired a fire hydrant at 1829 Sauk Trail. Exposing the main valve to shut off the fire hydrant, found out the top operating section of the hydrant, or the valve, was rotted away. That part has been replaced. The hole has to settle off a little bit for us to do the hydrant repair, which is a part that we get for free. It's a defective failing part that we get for free, and then we will repair the rest of the hydrant and it will be back in service. And the final item here, it's not on the report, but I want to add it because it's a concern around town. We have some street light issues in town, definitely due to infrastructure. Our infrastructure in town is older wiring systems. Due to that, we're having some power fluctuations when these lights go to start. They're basically a computer system, low voltage, and it's high voltage going into low voltage. So they're safety tested, they shut off when there's too much voltage or not enough voltage. So at some locations, you may notice the street light will be on during the daytime. These are areas that we're having problems with that specific light or power source coming into that light. But if we turn the light on, the light will stay on at the point we turn it on, it will not shut back off, so the power will be constant. So if you do see them lit, it's just us temporarily trying to light the light in a section right now until we can do some more permanent repairs. And that ends my report.
Thank you. Did you say that you're still looking for summer help?
Yes, we are.
Thank you. Reports of trustees, standing committees, and comments. Trustee Gary Bell.
Thank you, Mayor. The next safety committee meeting will be the 18th of June at 11 a.m. here in the Rotunda. And I'd also like to thank the village for allowing me to go to the 2 seminars I went to this last week, SSMA and the IFL conference. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Public Service Committee, Trustee Bernice Brewer.
No report, Mr. Mayor.
Budget and Finance Committee, Trustee Roger Correct.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do plan to have a budget and finance meeting next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Mr. Finch, will we still have the department head meeting this Saturday or no?
You said department head meeting?
Yeah.
It's going to be, no, not this Saturday.
The 22nd?
Yes.
And that's all I have.
Thank you. I'm guessing that you're talking Does it?
Mondays?
Saturday the 22nd. What time did you want to have it, trustee?
I remember last year, it took a few hours, to have a meeting. I think we're here like 4 or 5 hours, I believe. We had to go to the beach department, head, so I would say the earlier the better, but it's up to the whole board to decide what time we're gonna have it.
It's up to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, the 15th is this Saturday. No, so we said the 22nd, but that, I mean, 29th. I just think it has to be on a Saturday or to accommodate everybody.
As long as the budget is appropriate, so as long as the appropriation is approved by the end of July, that's the goal.
And then we still have to put it out there for 30 days as well, don't forget that.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, I couldn't have been on the 22nd. My husband said if you're at a special birthday,
I'll put it this way, I'll poll the trustee, and give them 3 days, 22nd, 29th, or 2 days, because we have to get this, we have to put it out there, and then once we do, because I have to make sure the department heads, they have to be there, they have to know their dates, their time. So, what we'll do is I'll put 2 dates up, get it disseminated to the trustees, and the most that can come in that day, they will have it. We can't wait, because we have to have it out for 30 days after it's been talked about. So if the appropriations is not passed, we can't pay bills. Okay, trustee, Sherry Jazinski?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm still looking for volunteers to sit on the housing committee with me. So if you're interested, if you could leave your name and number with the girls up front, I'm sure they'll get it to me. Or you can email me at sjazinski@saukvillage.org. Thank you very much.
Okay, ordinance review committee, trustee Linda Todd.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The next ordinance review committee meeting will be here in the Rotunda on June 17th, which is on Monday at 4 p.m. And that ends that. I just want to ask a quick question. I know it's been asked of us about this prevailing wage. Is it an ordinance that we have to put into place?
It's the ordinance that we have to actually vote on it, yes.
Okay, do we have a time limit on this?
Yes, it was already, but we still have time. I mean, the deadline is passed, but we still.
Okay, because I just don't want that to get forgotten. And also, Mr. Mayor, that is great news that the state's finally going to give us some money. Now, let's see what taxes get raised.
Like was said, when I say it's the accounting.
Yes, but thank you for that report. And that is fine.
Thank you. Trustee Debbie Wade.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I agree. Thank you for your due diligence and your trips downstate to get the funding for the village that is much needed. We do appreciate that. On June 20th at 5 p.m., the Public Events Committee will be meeting. I was going to meet this week, but unfortunately I have a family emergency, so I will not be able to meet on the 13th. We will meet here on June 20th at 5 p.m. in the Rotunda. On August 17th, we have the prescription drug and the paper recycling and the electronics recycling. So gather together all your prescription drugs, and August 17th, outside the Village Hall, you can bring one TV at that time. We'll have flyers on the table probably next week with the exact times. And also in the middle of September, we're taking the seniors to Brookfield Zoo. Anybody who would like to come to the zoo, those tickets will be donated by Commissioner Dr. Miller. And last week, I mentioned social media, which the elephant in the room, and I didn't have the social media ordinance in front of me. I'm not going to read the whole ordinance, but I think the reason why we need to understand the impact of social media and the impact of how these board meetings are conducted, and it's not just your fault, and it's just not our fault. Everybody is a part into why these board meetings are what they are. But as far as the social media policy that the board adopted, number 14006, it was adopted and advisable in the best interest of the village to establish guidelines for village employees' use of social media. The guidelines are designed to assist village employees in using social media in a manner that
not compromise the village's ability to provide governmental services to village residents. If you look further into the ordinance, little highlights of what this ordinance is trying to do. At the Village of Sauk Village, we understand that social media can be fun and rewarding, a way to share your life and opinions with friends. However, there are guidelines that we should follow. You should know and follow the rules. Inappropriate postings that may include discriminatory remarks, harassment, threats of violence, or similar inappropriate or unlawful conduct will not be tolerated and may be subject to disciplinary action, up to and including termination. Be respectful on social media. Be honest and accurate on social media. Never post any information or rumors that you know to be false about the Village of Sauk Village, fellow employees, members, customers, suppliers, or people working on behalf of the Village of Sauk Village. Post only appropriate and respectful content. Retaliation is prohibited. Now that's just a few things in the social media ordinance. And like the mayor stated earlier, and I totally agree, nobody's here for a popularity contest, believe me. I was on this board for 8 years and I saw the hostility and I lived the hostility. And the last thing I ever thought I was going to do was to put myself back in this position. So trust me, I'm not here to be popular because we've only just begun. And if you don't like me now, you're not going to like me later. There's one thing about me, if I see something that needs to get done or something that needs to be addressed, it will be brought out. But one thing about you, what you don't know is, I see a lot of new faces in this room. You haven't been here. You haven't seen it. You don't know. And if you don't give us a chance, and again, don't give us a chance. But when it all boils down to it, I hope that you take it with the vein that it's given. We're not trying to upset any apple carts here. We do want to, and you can home. And again, the audience is culpable to what we're doing too. Are you going to be respectful to, or are we always going to fight? Either we're going to always fight, or we're going to compromise and try to work together. But if you're going to ignore what's going on, then that's wrong. 8 people were elected to this board. You didn't elect just one person to run your community. When you go to the polls, you go to appoint and elect a mayor, a clerk, and 6 trustees. If you only needed one person to run the village, you would only be voting for a mayor. But there's a reason why when you go to the polling place, there are 8 people every 4 years, and 7 people. However, I'm sorry, I'm breaking it down wrong. The point of the matter is, when you go to the polls to elect trustees and a mayor, it's because everybody needs to work together for the common good of the residents. And if you voted for me and you're sorry that you voted for me, I'm sorry for you. Because the reason you voted for me is I'm not going to let stuff happen that's not supposed to be happening. I'm going to uncover things that have been done in the past 2 years. The things that you couldn't see, the things that I couldn't see. But you're angry now. But I can only hope when the time comes that you won't be angry with me anymore. And if you are still angry, think about it. Do you have an open mind? Because I have an open mind. And we just came back from an executive session where we actually kind of worked well together, where we actually had a little bit of compromise. And you don't know it because you didn't see it. Again, you didn't see it. But one thing about it, we had compromise. And I believe that we can continue to compromise, but we are not going to leave things covered. We're going to uncover. And you might not like it. You might not understand it. But my phone number at the Village Hall is 753-5125. And I am more than happy to speak to any resident. Because believe me when I tell you, I can think of a lot of better places to be on a Tuesday night than sitting here and listening to people argue and fight when I know we have way too much work to do. But I put myself back in this position because you matter. And I've said it all along. And if you don't believe it, come to the Village Hall and meet with me. Call me. My cell phone number is 708-351-8922. I am accessible. And I'm here for the residents. Believe me.
Reports, committees, and commissions. Senior Advisory Council.
Mayor, trustees, our next meeting for the Senior Advisory Council is this Thursday, June 13th, 2019. All are welcome to at 5 p.m. We have game night, every person, third Friday in the senior center, come out, please. On a Friday, and invite the seniors for bid quiz and other games. Also, we have a gym care here, having a health fair on June 18th, and gym care is going to sponsor it. And we do have flyers out, advertisements. Please tell all your seniors they're going to do blood pressure, and they're going to do blood sugar screening, and they got a lot of giveaways for the seniors. Also, want to thank all the seniors that went on our first casino trip. And thank you all for coming out. Looked like everybody had a good time. Also, I'm just going to report they're getting ready to start Bunko on June 17th from 4 to 9 in the senior center. So all you all that do Bunko, welcome to come out. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Unfinished business, I'll accept the motion to approve an ordinance for a liquor license for a banquet facility.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee, trustee Bill, I'm sorry. Second by trustee Brewer. Any questions? Madam Clerk, please call it.
Yes.
Yes. Trustee Grant?
Yes.
Trustee
Yes.
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 Motion is carried. New business, I'll accept the motion to approve the payroll and accounts payable and total disbursements in the amount of $283,802.
So moved.
Have a motion, have a second. Okay, the motion was lost for lack of a second, so,
Mr. Mayor,
we report yes.
I'd like to make a motion to, pay accounts payable with the exception of, invoice. No.
No, the motion was lost.
No, the motion is wrong. I'd like to make a motion to accept accounts payable with the exception of 5 invoices. The invoices are one from Barnes and Thornburg in the amount of $2,759.50. The second invoice is for Dr. Strotter, invoice 1047 in the amount of $2,295. The third invoice for Dr. Alicia Strotter for professional human services, invoice 1049 for $2,295. The fourth invoice is for Dr. Alicia Strotter for professional human resources, union negotiation, invoice 148 for $1,360. And also the fifth invoice for Dr. Lisa Strotter for professional human service, union negotiation, invoice 150 for $1,360. Second.
It was moved by trustee Brewer, second by trustee Williams.
Question. Mr. Mayor, what's the reason to block 5 of these invoices? I feel that if Barnes and Thornburg or Dr. Strata provided us a service, they should get paid. But it's plain and simple. I work 40 hours a week, I get a paycheck. So is there a reason why these are not being asked to not be paid?
Trustee Grant, on the one for Barnes and Thornburg, there are no details at all on that invoice. All it says is fees with that amount. So that's why I would not want it on there, because I reviewed the invoices of that, and there's nothing. And what I look at is, even in your home, if you get a bill and there's nothing, no details, you're going to question it before you pay it. So that's how I feel about this one.
Can I ask trustee Brewer, because I think she's the one who made the motion, so can I hear your thoughts, because I believe I did see the invoice, and it doesn't have exact detail, but it does have a general description of what it did. So there was a description of what the services provided were.
Well, trustee Grant, after we, approved the accounts payable, and we had to go into discussions for, Dr. Strada and Barnes and Thornburg's, you could ask that question, and I'll be able to provide you with some information on that, but I would like to be voted on separately, the last, these 5, invoices.
So these will be voted on separately, so you're gonna make another motion after this one to approve of these 5 invoices.
Well, individually, yes. Mr. Mayor.
Yes?
Okay, you mentioned that you saw an invoice and it mentioned that there was work being done. I have a copy of the invoice, and I'm just
I didn't
asking.
mention that. You said,
Pardon me?
you
No,
said I
no,
mentioned.
Mr. Grant did.
Oh.
No, I didn't say you did, I'm sorry. I just made the point. I actually do have the invoice. As a trustee, we are responsible for your money, and I'd like to know how many people in the audience would approve to pay an invoice that says, for legal services rendered in connection with the above matter for the period ending April 30th, 2019, as described on the attached detail. The attached detail on the next page says fees for services, $2,759. And it was stated previously, if you got a bill like this at your home with absolutely no detail whatsoever, would you pay this? In my home, I would not pay this. In your home.
Trustee, you're addressing the board, not the audience. You got a motion on the floor. You should be addressing the board, not the audience.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, in my home, I would not pay this. Okay, this invoice has absolutely no detail. The invoices that Trustee Brewer is talking about have absolutely no detail. I believe, moving forward until we have detail, if these invoices come back with detail, because I believe this is the attorney firm that charges $500 an hour, and I'd like to know what they did for $500 an hour to get to $2,759.50. Until they can show me what they did, that this village and these residents should pay that much money, Mr. Mayor, then I agree. I'm not going to approve this or any invoice without detail. Thank you.
On the items that was voted on, the 5 different items, there was a motion on the floor and a second not to pay. Barnes and Noble.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, should we
Barnes
take
and
the
Noble.
accounts payable partial process?
You made a motion to not pay this.
No,
That's the
I'm talking
motion that's on the floor.
I said the second motion.
That's the motion that's on the floor. The
Okay.
motion was to not pay these 5 items that you just got.
It also said to pay accounts payable.
Thank you. I know that. I know that she made the motion to not pay these 5 different items.
Okay, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, can I ask the attorney about? Okay.
My question is, so we can know, paying the bill, what is it that you want from the different vendors? So you're saying that it's not itemized enough, so what more itemization do you want? But we need to know, because I don't want to put the village in harm's way of not paying. So what is it that, what is it that the board, doing this motion, want? You want more itemization? What does that mean?
I'd like to refer this to the attorney. I asked a question, Mr. McGrath, about how I should state this motion, and I do believe I said I would like to pay accounts payable with the exception of the 5 different invoices. And I think that we should do the accounts payable first and then go on and vote on the other 5 separately.
You can do it either way. There's been a motion and a second to pay the accounts payable, with the exception of the items that you stated. So the accounts payable would be without those items being paid. There's some questions about those items, and then you can approve or vote on your motion rather, and then second it. So the accounts payable would be paid less than items that you pulled off the accounts payable.
we're not able to ask what it is they're looking for, just gonna pay this?
No, you can't.
That's all I was asking. That's all I was asking is what more itemization, so we can inform these vendors that submitted these bills, what more itemization does the board want? That's all I'm asking.
Or, of the money, accounts payable is not those items, because they want more direction, more detail, then they should advise you. And then
That's all I'm asking, so I can know what to, go back to the vendors. That's all I'm asking.
So then the board can vote, take the items individually, and or they can just ask for the next meeting, based on the request of the commissioner.
I'm not looking at this.
No, the board.
So you're asking, okay. Moved and seconded, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
Accounts payable, yes. Are we voting on it, we're removing those 5?
No, we,
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Yes to accounts payable minus those invoices.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carried. Okay, before I go any further to the next one, I need to know what you're looking for, so these people can find out why they're not being paid. So you're asking for what you see in the ordinance that wasn't passed yet. Okay, but we haven't passed it yet, but you're asking, I'm saying you're asking for what the ordinance has. So you want those different things to be, you want to itemize as stated in the ordinance that hasn't been passed yet. That's coming down, that'll be item number D. So I'm asking, is that what you're asking for, that, because I need to find out why these vendors not, they're gonna ask why they're not paid, and you have to give them an answer. So I'm asking, is that what it is? I'm asking the board. Is that what they're looking for? You're looking for more itemization? And the itemization you're looking for is what's stated in that ordinance?
I want to make a comment on this particular, invoice. Yes.
Basically, we're asking for like punch and time clock. For 8 hours, the guy might work about a little truck.
Vendors don't put time clock.
Well, on the one that you're talking about with the attorney, that's unacceptable. You don't tell us the fee, you're not telling us what it's for, you don't tell us how long you worked on it, it's just a bill for, what was it, $2,700. There needs to be more details on that.
Okay, that's all.
That's what I'm saying on that.
I'm asking you a question. Are you asking for more detailed information? So when that's presented, okay, I just want to know. And then, so that's an all invoice, that's all I ask.
For this particular invoice on Barnes and Thornburg, the reason I want some additional information is because it hasn't been itemized, nor have, I don't think any of the trustees here have voted on expenditures for this particular amount of money. I don't know why Barnes and Thornburg was never brought before the board to ask him to do this sort of thing. We spent out $2,759.50. Nobody asked us about it. Next thing you know, as I know it, this particular invoice is for a FOIA request. That I think is a little ridiculous for us to pay that kind of money for a FOIA request. I have the floor, Mr. Mayor.
I'm trying to alleviate.
I have the floor, Mr. Mayor. I have the floor, Mr. Mayor. I have finished my statement. Okay, for Barnes and Thornburg's, this is for $2,759. This is actually for a FOIA request where the mayor is objecting to what's, responding to it. And, first and second of all, like I said, this money was never approved by the Board of Trustees. And you, have taken upon yourself to, charge $2,759.50 for this. And I don't think it's fair. I don't think we should be paying this kind of money just for a FOIA request. That's exactly what FOIA requests for, Freedom of Information request. You cannot deny a resident or a trustee any documents related to Sauk Village business. And this is wasting our money, saying we're going to pay all this money to fight FOIA requests. The information is available. Why not just pass it on? It's simple. It's the law. And it's legal.
Okay, first of all, I was trying to stop you for the simple reason that you just put yourself in harm's way. The lawyer says it right there. The law, the suit is against defending what you're suing the village. You should not even be involved in voting on that, because you should recuse yourself from voting on that, because the lawsuit is against you. I'm sorry, against this board filed by yourself. And I told you back then that I was going to go get whoever to defend that. But you kept on. I was trying to stop you because you should not even vote on anything pertaining to that particular lawsuit.
Mr. Attorney,
so I waited for you to talk. I waited for you to talk. I waited for you to talk. Now, as far as if the board wants, that's fine. But when you made that statement that, it's frivolous and all that, that's what the courts do. They make that decision, not you. You filed the lawsuit against this board and this village. You did what you wanted to do. Now it's up to the village and this board to defend that lawsuit. You can call it whatever. But for you to even be involved in voting the money in and out for that, that is wrong, totally wrong. That's totally wrong. So
I haven't voted on anything before.
You made the motion to not pay.
Yes, to hold it.
You shouldn't have done that.
I can make a motion, Mr. Mayor.
You shouldn't have done that.
There's no.
The lawyer's right there. Talk to your legal counsel.
Mr. Counsel. This is, Mr. McGrath. Is there some reason why I can't make a motion to pay this particular invoice? I've been making a motion. I didn't say do it. I said make a motion.
Any of the trustees, you all know you're in charge of the first strings of the money of the village. You can make a motion and pull certain items from the accounts payable, certain. I would suggest that you don't talk about the merits of your case. I'm not involved in that case. I don't represent you on that case, and nor do I represent the village in that case. There's two separate law firms. I can see any of the pleadings. I don't know what's going on other than what the current is based on kind of my own that I saw that prior to the court work just filed today for an extension of time to answer the complaint. I know they have filed it. Other than that, I don't know what the defense is going to be. If there's a defense, I don't know what your claims are. But as far as putting a motion to pull anything off the accounts payable, that's certainly within your purview as being an elected trustee of the board of trustees who controls the purse.
Mr. Mayor, I agree. We're talking about litigation here, and we shouldn't be. We should be talking about finances. We're in accounts payable right now. So we're not dealing with what the merit of the bill is. The mayor asked a question, what detail do we want to see on the bill so they can get paid? My question was, or my statement from the beginning was, the bill said, see the next page for detail, and there was no detail. So I can only assume, I worked in a law firm, every 15 minutes, there's a bill. You talk to them 3 minutes, you can bill 15 minutes in 15-minute increments. What I'm saying is, on the back page, it says, see the detail. There's no detail. And I understand that this is the law firm that's charging $500, so I would like to know, what did you do for us for $500? But I'm not going to speak to the merits of the case. And as far as the other invoices that are being pulled, in my opinion, it says the same thing every week. And it's very broad. I want to know, who did you talk to? What did you do? How did you facilitate this? This is what consultants do. Consultants don't hand in broad invoices explaining exactly what they did. This particular consultant has charged $850 a week since July of 2018 for negotiations or union discussions. What have you done 10 hours a week since July of 2018? I think it's a good question. I don't think that we shouldn't be able, and you're asking, Mr. Mayor, what do we want? I want to know what was done for every hour for the $850, because for the 5 days that she was on administrative paid leave, that $850 went to $1,360 for 2 weeks because those 5 days caused her to get behind. So now we have to pay $1,360. So I definitely want to know what was done on these invoices. So I hope that I've answered your question, but I do agree, we need to be careful about what we talk about in open session.
To finish my, comment. No, I have a comment on the other, 2 invoices for, Dr. Strada. Mr. Finch is not here.
You voted not to pay them.
I didn't vote for not paying. I didn't say that. I have a question.
You just voted, the board just voted to not pay those 5 invoices. It was unanimous vote. 5 to 6 is up. So what else is there? What else are you bringing up?
I want to know.
The motion was second and it was voted on.
I have a question.
The clerk called the roll.
Mr. Mayor, I have a comment for Dr. Strada's invoices that they submitted, 1047 and 1049. And on the accounts payable, yes, paid AD, what does that mean?
I have no idea.
Well, that's my question.
Okay, but then you asking me, like I said before, when did you get this account payable? Today? Did you get this today?
Do you have an answer to what is paid AD for? Do you have an answer to this?
I thought
Do
you
you have
got
an
this.
answer to that?
I just got to.
There you go, but then I just explained that this question.
What does that mean? I'm gonna do that too. What does that mean?
That means that you
That's
don't
what
know
that
what
means.
you're talking about. Do you know what paid
No, what does that
AD
mean?
is? What does that mean? I'm asking you a question, what does paid AD mean?
Mr. Mayor, I can answer that question if you like. Mr. Mayor.
Because I'm right now, I'm going to respect, but I'm also going to ask for respect. I'm not going to sit here and diss and all this, and we're going to do business, not to grandstand, not to say whatever. If you don't want to do something, you vote on it, let's move on. That's all I'm saying. You said you don't want to pay those particular 5 invoices. All I asked, so I can go back to get the information, what is it that you're looking for? You told me what you're looking for. Why are we going further? What's the reason to keep going and all this and everything? I don't understand that, but the only thing I'm saying, I hope it's not what I think it is.
I want to know what paid AD.
What did you get ready to say, trustee?
Actually, I did speak to the accounts payable department, and it's listed on the accounts payable report, the name, and it says PAI, and it appears to look like it's paid. When it says paid leave, you can't correct the whole line on the accounts payable report. I did question that, but if we could have seen the entire line, it says paid leave, because I did take the time.
Okay, well, that's why I asked the trustee, when did she get this? And I'm sure this looked like it was June 6th or whatever, I don't know. Okay, next item.
Well, I thought that we were going to vote individually on those 5 invoices.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. The next item is I want to, because it was stated that you would vote individually, so I would like to take a motion, entertain a motion.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, but she said that we would vote on them individually after the accounts payable. Right, but then she also mentioned that she would vote on them individually. That's what she said. So we need to vote on the 5 invoices individually. No. But she just said that we want to vote on them individually. She just said that. She just said it. So she needs to make a motion that we vote on those 5 invoices individually, because that's what she said we were going to do. So I voted yes, and accounts payable. Now we need to vote on the 5 individuals, so we can vote on that as well.
So are you making a motion to?
I'm there with Trustee Brewer needs to make the motion, because she said that's what we need to do.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Okay, it was moved by trustee Brewer, second. The motion, it was moved by trustee Brewer, second by trustee Grant. That the 5 different invoices are to be voted on separately. I'll take a motion for the first one, which would be Barnes and Thornburg for legal services in the amount of $27.59.
So,
Second.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
no, we already did that. This is to approve the invoice for Barnes and Thornburg, because we already removed them, and now we're gonna pay them individually.
No, not until we get more details.
No.
Abstain.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Dr. Lisa Straughters, invoice number 1047. I'll accept a motion to pay. Yes, to pay. You can always say so. I'll accept the motion to pay.
So moved.
Second.
It was moved by trustee Grant, second by trustee Brewer.
Question.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, in the event that this or any of the other 4 are not approved, how does that play out when we have the contract?
Contract is self-explanatory.
So it doesn't matter if we vote yes or no, because she would pay the bills?
I mean, it's in her contract that if she doesn't get paid, that she'll get her money. That was in the contract. She'll get paid anyway, it's in the contract.
No.
If you hold up her pay, read the contract, go look out. And if that's what it says, that's why he's asking the question. Well, that was in the contract, so. Unless you want to talk to her and ask her, to tell her that, but right now, if you vote not to pay her, that's what's in there. Is there anything else? Okay. Now, what please call the roll?
No, not until more detail is provided.
No.
No.
Yes.
Motion's carried. Invoice number for Dr. Stroud, invoice number 1049. Motion was no, so to me, the motion was carried. If it says affirmative, the motion was carried. No, motion item, I'm sorry, invoice 1049.
Second.
Moved by trustee Bell, second by trustee Grant. Any questions?
Can you clarify the motion that we could do a little bit better, because you just say motion is just not to pay or pay or.
That's what you said. You said you don't want to pay her. What on clarity is it? You said you don't want to pay her.
Yeah.
So you voted not to pay her.
Yeah, make that clear.
You voted not to pay her.
The motion, no, we need to stop this, because even.
Well, that's what you're saying.
No, you took the 5 items off of accounts payable to vote on them separately. To approve them.
Yep.
Either you say yes or no when it's your turn to
That's
vote.
it. That's
So
all.
the motion is to pay them. And then if you don't want to pay them, say no. If you do want to pay them, say yes. But the motion clearly states, we pulled 5 off of accounts payable. Somebody wanted to vote on them separately. We're voting on them separately now.
Thank you, man. That's what I stated.
Thank you. Try to help you.
Are there any questions on the last motion, 1049? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
No, not until there's more detail.
No.
Yes.
No until there's more detail.
Next item is invoice number 148, for Dr. Strada. I'll entertain a motion. Moved by trustee Grant, second by trustee Bell. Any questions? Please call the roll.
No. No.
Yes.
No, not until there's more detail.
Okay, last one is item number 150 from Dr. Strada. I'll entertain a motion. So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Grant, second by trustee Bell. I'm sorry. Trustee Bell, second by trustee Grant. To pay, as stated before, this particular invoice. Madam Clerk.
There's a comment.
Go ahead, what comment?
On this particular invoice, Dr. Strada, the consultant, Dr. Strada, has never been brought before the board for advice and consent. There's no position or consulting position that has been hired with advice or consent of the board. There was no job created for this particular position. The previous board approved 17 hours, yet however she was paid 17.4 hours. She was never approved for that amount of hours by the board, by the previous board. This has been an ongoing conflict that has not been resolved between the board and the mayor. Either she's supposed to be paid 17 hours or 17.45 hours. Either she's been approved and with the advice and consent of the board, but she has not been approved or consented with by the board. Therefore, in fact, I think she's in violation of the several Illinois state statutes that provides for the mayor to appoint consultants, but they have to be with the advice and consent of the board, which she has never been. And that's the end of my comment.
Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
No, not unless there's more detail.
No.
Yes.
Next item. Motion to accept the recommendation for the award for the MFT CDBG project.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by trustee Williams, second by trustee Grant. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Yes.
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 Carried. Item number C. I'll accept the motion to override item number 1. I'm sorry, I accept the motion to change the amend, I'm sorry, I accept the motion to amend item C.
So moved.
Second. Moved by trustee Williams, second by trustee, was it Bell? Wow. I don't know, it down that way. Any questions? Madam Clerk?
Yes.
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 Yes. Motion carried. I'll accept the motion motion on number one, we're gonna do these one by one. I need a motion to accept number one, which is the ordinance number 19-011, which creates the office of the village administrator. I need a motion to either override the veto or.
The motion is to override the veto, right? Correct, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, because I didn't veto it, but everybody
But
said.
the veto was handed into
Okay,
the
well then, okay.
attorney as a signed veto.
Okay.
I make that motion.
Moved by trustee Williams, second by trustee Todd, to override, I don't even know why I said it, but I didn't veto it, but to. Okay.
Yeah, the signed veto.
Madam, please, any questions?
Well, I do have a question, I have a comment, excuse me, because there's a lot of confusion on this one. The mayor did not verbalize this veto, but the veto was signed and sent to the attorney. So when it was signed and sent to the attorney, it was a valid veto that needs to be overridden tonight. So whether he verbalized it correctly last time, it was sent to the attorney, signed. So it makes it a valid veto. So yes, we have a motion to override this veto. Just want to clarify.
Any other questions? Madam Clerk?
No.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carried. Is there anything else we want to be brought up on item C? Item D, motion to approve the Village of Sauk Village initiating a accounts payable policy on behalf of the village board.
Skip that.
I didn't skip anything. I asked a question and it was given, the answer was given.
They amended.
I I asked the question and the answer was given. Item D, motion to approve the Sauk Village initiating an accounts payable policy on behalf of the village board.
Second.
Moved by trustee Todd, second by Bell. Any questions?
Comment, I just want to know, and I think I said this last week, how are we going to enforce this and tell the vendors that they must comply by these rules that we put in place in order for them to get paid? So there won't be like no miscommunication, everybody gets paid in a timely fashion.
I don't think that the motion calls for the procedure of how you're going to notify. It's whether or not you are granting authority to establish policy. So as you establish policy, how they will be notified, the sequencing of the your policy. Right now, you're just voting to do it.
Now you're voting to accept this particular policy, which is an ordinance.
Correct.
You're voting on an ordinance.
Correct.
I don't know what you would say, that if you vote on an ordinance, and that's the ordinance states that it would be a accounts policy put in place on behalf of the village board, so.
Correct, but they still have to abide by these rules. And so who's going to put this in place and inform all of our vendors that this is the new policy, that they have to apply by these rules?
Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
We had this discussion in committee when we brought this to the board, and what we said was the department heads who receive these invoices need to detail, if it's not received by the vendor, the department head should detail. And if the department heads don't have it to give detail, then whoever does receive it, whether it's the finance director or whomever, it's on them to get the detail. We just don't feel it's necessary or right to pay invoices that don't have detail. This was all discussed last week.
Any other questions? Because I'm not, it's some of this, but this is what the board wants. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Motion carried. Item E, motion to approve an ordinance limiting rates for legal services for the village of Sauk Village.
Second.
Moved by trustee Williams, second by trustee Bell. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Yes.
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 No.
Motion carried. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that motion.
No, I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Moved by trustee Bell, second by trustee, I guess you're raising